Okay. Mhm, 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 okay. Oh, this meeting is being live streamed. Thank you very much, you crazy punch. All right, welcome to Black Lions Domain, you beautiful Hunskins and loves. We are live streaming on Facebook, Instagram, not Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I am Zachary Shiloh or Zachary Shiloh Watts, depending on the preference. Thank you very much for tuning into the general flotastic zone where love shines the brightest, called Black Lions Airspace. Today's been a long day in the making, kids. I've been trying to get this crazy hunt back on my show for some time, but for some odd reasons, whenever a full moon comes out, it is the reverse of Michael Jackson's Thriller. She's not becoming a werewolf, she gets zoinked, falls on the floor. So sad to say, I could not get her at those points in time. And plus, we were busy trying to do something called Fear the Love's Roar. So that took more precedence than us actually coming together for our podcast. And speaking of podcast, kids, I actually called her out on something. And I'm going to remind you and her right now. She's got a podcast called Majestic Moments. The last time that it was heard, if you're watching this or listening, it was June 13th, only 9 episodes in. And she, for some odd reason, fell off the face of God's green earth. So this hun is about to hear me actually say it to her again, not only on this podcast, but for all of you to go for hell. And I love you for you. Say to your husband, God bless you, Mr. Mayhill, for having my ex-wife. You, my dear, you are on a deadline, not me. I got a deadline for you today. You got a deadline to get your hiney in gear. You got until December 13th. December 13th, you are 6 months without your podcast. Let me tell you right now. But it's all good because we are going to talk about what has been going on since our last roaming around, or excuse me, universal grounding, kids. Universal grounding. She came around after roaming around was dead. Yes, she did. And she's looking golden and more every single time I look at her. God bless Bruce. Please don't think I'm hitting on your wife. She's great looking and my former wife. I love her so much. You're taking care of her, and that's what matters to me. All right, so mother, best-selling author, Reiki master, martial artist, podcaster, podcaster. Okay, the other half of Fear the Love's Roar, and much, much more. My beloved Yuri-chan from Japan. Mayoko Fakino Mayhel, my beloved, how are you?
I am doing well, Zachary-san. How are you?
So I'm doing well. Before we get knee deep into what's been going on, kids out there, I actually have an announcement. A certain Paula L. Eberling, please correct me if I'm wrong. She is a part of the Blair Hayes Magic family. And Paula Love, or excuse me, Paula Hun, I got plenty of Paula Loves. I don't need to be a Hun. All right, the married ice cream shop owner Love. Let me use that terminology instead. She wants to enter the podcasting world. So Paula, congratulations on your big announcement. You want to become a podcaster. All you need is just a webcam. All you need is just a gumption. And this one over there, I'm pointing at. You can learn from her. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But I offer my services and my lovings to you, my dear married one. You will do great. And I didn't say this out loud, but God bless your hubby in the fence here because you kind of turned me on. Yes, you did. If you weren't married, my dear, let me tell you right now, Zachary Shiloh's honey kids, I'll leave it at that.
Well, first of all, Zachary-san, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate, and I appreciate you as always. And I'm always excited to be on Zachary's show because number one, he sees all of us, not just the people who comes on your podcast, but as I say, especially people who comes in the podcast, he sees every one of us, whether that's male, female, group, sees us as whole being, and that he always encouraged us to be the way we are born for this life. So when you say beautiful or pretty, or you said turn on, or whatever the wording that you use is more than how we use it on our earth, like very expansive. So his love to individual or collective, kind of, when he says it, I want everybody who's listening, watching, to not to just be in a limited container, sees that as more expansive. And we don't do that often enough for ourselves and even for other people. And then I believe this is so important. That's why you continue to have this podcast. That's why you continue to have this. I know there's so many listeners and audience. I know that he's a multiple bestseller author. So this is where it is, that the genuineness in his heart just emanates and wherever he decides to show up. So that's the podcast, that's the books, and that's whatever that he's planning on doing, right? So again, that's the genuineness and the purity and the truth that comes out. And so I'm very honored to be here. So thank you, Zachary-san.
You're welcome, my delicious little Yuri coach. Yes, you are. God bless you, Mr. Mayfield. Humble. Thank you for letting your wife come on my show and taking care of my Yuri coach. I got you in respect, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, Yuri-chan, we got a deadline, so it's time for us to play for a while. So the last time you came on my podcast, we were, I believe, heading to a certain book called Letters of Magic. I was already a single times best-selling author in a book called They Are Magic. And before we even get to Letters of Magic, which is our first collaborating together, you brought me on your show that, again, I'm calling you out on. Majestic Moments. You brought me on that, baby. I loved every single moment of it. It was something I needed. I didn't know how much I needed, because people mainly saw me as this pop culture geek only. They didn't know that I actually had this spiritual side to me and best-selling authorship or whatever that was going on. But for you to actually bring me on before other people that I've actually seen and talked to, by the way, that meant a lot. I thought if anybody was going to be on first, it probably would have been our dear friend Jen Morgan, or what do I call you, Jennifer? Pole Dancerkins. Pole Dancerkins, who will eventually appear on here. She's already agreed, so it was just now that we got to make time. All right, so I thought she would have been first. If not Jen, then Stephanie Mahoney, who actually I call a fifth dimensional. But no, that honor went to me. I still jazz out to this day. I listen to my episode more than anybody else's episode just to like hype myself up or remind myself of where I come from. And it was absolutely fun. Why did you stop doing Majestic Moments, you crazy hunt? That's the first question.
Oh, I promise. I promise here on live. I am coming back very, very soon. And I'm very excited about it. And bringing a newer realm into it. So I'm very, very excited. But I'm not telling what it is because I'm excited. But at the same time, I want as many people as possible to listen to, and not only just for the guests, but also for listener to have hopes and more faith and more love and more peace and more compassion to themselves, but also at the for everybody else. And we all need it, we all need it to move through and being in the flow, flowtastic.
Right on.
Right. Yes. So, oh, thank you for the reminder though. So you just had their magic. No, Letter of Magic.
Yeah, Letters of Magic was the first book that you and I actually co-authored. But I was talking about your podcast, you goofball woman.
Yeah, because I wanted to go back to that one. But yeah, so my podcast, Majestic Moments, that is coming back soon, returning, is about talk about unseen and seen worlds. And we all, every single one of us live in seen and unseen world. And an unseen mean that we may feel like that we don't see it, but we see it. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes absolute sense.
And then it's almost like we are training ourselves, the brain, maybe possibly our whole bodies too, to not to see it, whether that's because of fear, fear to love slower.
We'll get to that shortly, kids.
Yeah, I know, right? So hint. And,
yeah.
The fear doesn't mean that not only fear of not having it, but a fear of having it. And then those are all from a human being's eyes and the feeling. It's unseen. It hasn't happened yet. But then for through this podcast, and you mentioned about Steph Mahoney and Jen and everybody else, but it is about understanding. Well, I don't really like to use the word understanding, but more of experiencing.
More unity?
Yeah, more unity by experiencing a quantum field. So, I mean, how do we do that, right? And then, obviously, I would talk about it on a podcast. So, but then so in order for us to experience it, maybe the little bit of more understanding of what is that quantum field or quantum experiences are all about. But that goes back to being aware of, that goes back to you mentioned it in the very beginning for my introduction. Thank you very much for the beautiful introduction, by the way. And it goes back to, I thought, it goes back all the way to when I started to practice martial arts and teaching martial arts. And back then I didn't realize that's what I was experiencing because I wasn't aware of it. And then I thought I was, but I wasn't. And so then right at this moment, I realized that the keyword realize that it was already there. So I myself, the core to myself was not being aware of what I was experiencing. So therefore, know that every single one of the listener, or even people who are not listening, is important as well.
Yeah.
That they are already experiencing. So just having a tiny little bit of a knowledge, even by listening to this podcast, will open up more awareness, and then so to experience that quantum, I like to call it quantum magic.
Shout outs to like certain kins that are actually watching right now. We're getting ready to talk about a certain other book that we're in. But
that's interesting.
But
again, that tells us that we share our minds, right? We were coming from, we are created by same source. Then we came to this earth as an individual human being, but we are also, you mentioned about we are unified, we are united. So sounds like sometimes it when it gets in my head, feels like it contradict to each other, but that's again, when we get in our head, especially me, like when I get in my head, it doesn't move. It's like myself not getting on the podcast. It's all here, and my ego is blocking to move through. So it's that goes to the Jen Morgan is really good with Akashic record, and that's who I learned Akashic record from, the how to read. So when we become aware of what this whole universe, the quantum field, is all about, or get even curious about it, it's sort of like a whole I like to call it junk, but that was junk wrapped around your own head. Our own head is kind of started to peel off, like
layers.
Yeah, the layers of layers that we kind of condition ourselves in the wrong way. But we all do that, it's not to point out the faults or anything like that. We all go through it, and it's okay. It's like we had to experience it to experience what is this unseen and seen worlds are all about. It's almost like um, it was so a little bit about it. So both of us are co-authors for. Is it okay to mention about it, or did you already mention it in podcast? That it's coming
Magical
up?
Miracles. No, I've actually mentioned Magical Miracles that I actually am in it. I haven't mentioned a certain date release yet, or a
Okay, so I'm
certain.
not going to mention about it, but
No, no,
that.
no, no, no. Mayuko-chan, my dear Yuri-chan, let me hold you right now. Okay. Uh, Kids out there, we have a book release coming in a few weeks now called Magical Miracles. I already laid out that this thing was supposed to be my sixth book. However, a certain, I can say it out loud, a certain David Vine and his partner were kind of jacking around for months on end with Black Lions Roar 5, the book that contains the legit number 5. I had to make it known that I was pissed in the most sincere way. And now we got a release. So what's supposed to be number 5 is actually coming out on January 16th. But Blair Hayes, our beloved Blair Hayes, or Blurkins, the almighty Blurkins, as I call it, has the honor of saying that my 6th Black Lions Roar is my 5th release. So that's getting ready to come out December 7th. And I can hear her in the essence now. She's saying promote, promote, promote. So Mayuko, go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, so the author like you in that book that is coming up, you can mention that it's coming up. Yeah, I'm asking you, is it that just in time to be a Christmas gift almost? Yes.
Yes. Again, kids, let Zachary Shiloh hold Yuriko Chen, and please, Mr. Bruce Mayhew, don't think that I'm actually harming her. I'm just calming her down.
So it's absolutely, definitely every single authors in that book, as always with the magic series. And yes, everybody want to grab a hold of it, definitely, because this is last of our magical series. So it's like yourself, others are meant to be in that book. And in one of the chapter will be written by me is I haven't really posted about that yet. Is I mentioned about the quote that I heard at the concert with my kids, right? But it's the talking about the experiences makes who you are in this present moment. So it doesn't really matter what kind of experiences. Whether that's we have a tendency to separate like good and bad, and then that's nothing wrong with it as long as we take that as experiences. And then a quote was, mistake. We don't make mistakes. Mistakes makes us, meaning makes us who we are. Right? So that's where the not get stuck in that ego mind, but recognizing, and then Jen, who's my teacher and a friend's, Jen Morgan, talks about this often, is to be able to recognize and acknowledge and release, right? That way we can shift our mindset. And then Steph Mahoney talks about it a lot too. That way we can, in that quantum field, because we are in the quantum field, we were able to, in that moment, be able to recognize and then acknowledge and then have that release. And while that we are having that healing part, we can make a shift. And that's where that awareness comes in more and more, and that's where that expansiveness come through. And I wish I can explain it.
You're doing the best you can. Don't beat yourself up about it.
I mean,
basically, kids, if I could try to wrap it up for her, because I know she's got to go soon. All right. So basically, we're living the best lives we can live, and we're all energy. Whatever energy we put out is what we are becoming. Say, for example, I'm feeling absolutely dirty and I don't want to let it go. I'm going to be that way for a while. Now, if I want to be happy and upbeat with a certain time like this, then you will actually hear me actually get a little bit more high pitched or a little bit more broody, depending on the situation. But the overall product is the fact that I'm matching the vibration I'm in. And speaking of vibrations, hello, Marquito Larehan. If you're ever watching or listening to this, thank you very much for your appearance in Black Lions Domain some months ago, plus your influence into the chapter that is known as My Magical Life. I appreciate it. Because of you, I was able to write from a 40-year-old Zachary Shiloh's perspective, even though his memories are more so present day Zachary Shiloh's. I bow to you and respects Marquita Hunt, and you'll be back eventually. I don't know where, I don't know when, but you're coming back, my dear taking one. Okay, let's get back to what's going on with you. Letters of Magic, Hunt. You shocked me. I didn't expect you to actually be in that book at all. If anything, I thought you probably would have been like a few words or whatever, and then went about. But you actually did a tribute to our dear friend Jen Morgan. I mean, not Morgan. Hi, Jennifer Morgan, or Pole Dancer Ken's. I'm getting you confused with somebody else right now. Jennifer Kirsch. Jennifer Kirsch. That's who you actually showed up for, Mayoko. So what made you decide to appear?
That was actually, it's for me to show the gratitude for her beings, and that my writing came from the experience I had, or I got to experience the time together with her. It was through FaceTime, and I think it was FaceTime. Was it on the Messenger? No, it's the same, the video call. And so I was there for Reiki healing moment for her, but that's the beauty about Reiki healing and energy healing is, as I was the conduit for her, therefore I was in the moment, and it continues through until this day, is I was receiving the healing, and I was receiving the love and the peace and the compassion that she was on this earth. And it's to just thumbs it up, it's almost like I literally experienced the felt like she was in the hospital, I was in my own house, but it felt like I was in somewhere in the cosmic, and it felt that literally the infinite symbol that we all know, that it was coming through me to Jennifer, and then coming back, and I have a feeling she did too, but felt like we were all, both of us were surrounded by the infinite, cosmic, universal love. And we were literally felt the lift. And so that's why I wanted to show that gratitude to her, for being there, for allowing me to experience that, the profound moment. And that's what that page is about.
I loved actually reading that whole entire book, and to have the book after the intro by Blair meant a lot. That we did pay tribute to Jen Kirsch because she was the hype woman. She was maybe the longest tenured writer in that entire series, if my memory serves me right. In time for the catchphrase that everybody may actually know by now. Oh, Blairkins, please correct Zachary Shallow if he's wrong. All right. So my chapter, and that was my tribute to her. I originally did it as an exercise after our dear friends, the Dapper couple, ended May Cause Miracles. I was I think on my second run by myself, and I needed somebody to write a letter to. I couldn't send it to Blair. Everybody knows how much I love me some Blarkins. I couldn't send it to Jamie BLK. Everybody kind of knows I love me some Jamie. I did love Jenna Hernandez at a certain point, but me and her stopped talking by now. Let's see. I tried to think of others, but then Jen Kirsch came to mind. I said, okay, there she is. There's the person I want to write to. So I was writing my letter of whatever gratitude for May Cause Miracles, and then I sent it to Blair. We talked about her for a while. And as I worked my slave job, kids, I could hear a louder nudge, like, take it to Letters of Magic. Take it to Letters of Magic, Zachary Shiloh. You don't have anybody to write for. So I said, all right, let's go with Jen. So I continued to write it a little bit more. I sent it in and said, thank you for your submission, but you're going to have to write a little bit longer. You're in the main chapters. I said, I got to write a little bit longer. Come on, Amanda, please. Why? But she told me the word limit. I literally had to go to a psychic at the time that Jenna Love and I had friendship with. I said, I need you to talk to the source right now. You're my only medium. I can't go to it. I'm too vexed. I'm too wonky. I don't understand. So she said, you'll flush it out. You'll flush it out. And lo and behold, she was right. I came through. I actually did flush it out. And I was the first person in the cast to actually have this stuff in time. And I said, history repeats itself again. History repeats itself again. I did it in They Are Magic. And now I did it again in Letters of Magic. So that was cool beans for me, but I could feel it. It was originally from the standpoint of what I knew of her relationship with Blair. But then I had to literally look deep within myself. I said, okay, I need a last dragon moment. I need to have that Jesus Christ moment. All right, what's going on with me? What's going on with me and Jennifer? Because people already know about her and Blair through the books, I would guess. But me, I knew her since January. Okay. We've been talking on and off. She wanted to be on my show. She was the reason why I actually came up with the Flotastic name. Let's talk about all of that. And it just came out like over a span of days. I just wrote it on my phone as I'm going to work. And then I sent it to Amanda. And then we edited it together, and the rest was history. I'm still in awe to this day, and I keep on saying this out loud, humbly and grateful that Americans, God bless her, she actually made me in the end again. At that point, I said, "Oh wow!" I read the book exactly on August 3rd, and
That's crazy.
yeah, I was in awe.
It's a
Original,
literary flowtastic,
yeah,
right?
I know. I actually was in awe when They Are Magic was released. I remember. I'll be brief with this. I remember Blair actually asking us in the They Are Magic cast, "Who's going first?" And Tammy Lambrow chimed in, "Zachary Shiloh." And I said, "Blarkins, there's a certain roar." And she said, "No, congratulations, you're last." I said, "What?" What? But then history kind of repeats itself, except that she didn't have to ask who was last. I was the second to last. And I saw who was last. I said, "Oh." That was my genuine reaction. I told Blair on the actual family call that on stage. I said, "Blairkins, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You put me in the purr hunt, Brooke Coleman. And Brooke, if you're ever watching or listening to this, I'm not giving up on you coming on my show either. I'm actually gonna keep on hounding you until you get in Black Lions Domain. We gotta talk about Letters of Magic, damn it, and your big accomplishments since. All right, that was quite a ride. And to think of my life since I stopped doing my podcast for a while after, or I think maybe a smidge before. And a certain a certain fun over here, uh, came to me. She was doing her own thing called Fear Buster. I was going nowhere with my business called Love's Roar, which was my coaching bit where I actually tried to take my clients in their journey, their journey to better physical, mental, and spiritual health. So Mayuko over here, thought Fear Buster would go good with Love's Roar, and we sat down together for a while, and we were just picking our brains. All right, what to do, what to coast. So we wanted to honor both sides of the paradigm or shift. All right, she's bringing the Fear Buster, so Fear 2, and then I actually say that once the journey's done, you're roaring loud in the name of love. So there we go, Fear the Love's Roar. That worked, and we actually just joked for a while. I don't know what happened, legit. I don't know what happened, legit. But we stayed in touch, and I've been doing Fear the Love's Roar somewhat on my own. But now it's like I'm still looking for more people to join me or join us. I'm not giving up on her either. I'm not giving up on her either. She's eventually gonna kick this thing that she's got to do solo to the curb, and then join me for Fear the Love's Roar. So Mayuko, love, before we really start to hit it up, get out here in the next 18 minutes, can you give my listeners or our potential clients why you came to me for Fear the Love's Roar?
So nobody wants to focus only on fears, right? So when we look at or read it or hear the word fears, I mean, including myself, we have a tendency to not to look at it or not to pay attention to it. And so then, I mean, it is important to, again, that goes back to recognizing and acknowledging that's to release that fears. But and I realize that we human beings need to hear the end result. And then what we were here to do is, every one of us, I believe, that returning to, this is a, so, well-known author's book, the name of the book, but we should be, we are the love, we are the peace, and we are made with love, made out of love. So to confidently returning to love is to become our truth, and to stand in the confidence is go back to, like a lion, right? Or a lioness,
Yeah.
right? To be the king of your
A queen.
queen, yeah. Not only in your life, but also the whole collective. But let's just focus on individual, because individual is important in that when we do our individual, not necessarily job, to be true to yourself, the loving person that you are, then that ripples out and that becomes a collective. So individual being is so important, and not to just to focus on the fears and having that end result. And that goes back to that the significant theme of that chapter that I wrote in this the book that is coming up pretty soon, is the law of assumption. Then using our imagination in seeing the end result, which is love's roar, is very important, and not for us to get stuck in that fear, right? In order for us to, and then I believe that healing happens, the releasing happens, not when we are thinking about it, the fear part. What the healing happens, the releasing happens when we are thinking, imagining about individually or collective thought or imagination of a love's roar, that we are the king, and then we are the a lion and a lioness that we are. That we have every single one of us has this birthright that we are here to do on while we are living this on this earth, right? And every single one of us. Then that goes back to, therefore, love and honor and respecting ourselves, that leads into others, all other beings. And how do we do that? Then tune in more and more. Tune in. Yes, to tune in individually to the universe, and then also the Akashic record. I mentioned about it a little bit ago, but it's all the data that is in the universe, and then it is our job. I don't necessarily like the word job, but we all know what we're talking about. Like, when we are become aware of it, even submission of it, the doors start to open up. The awareness, the awareness is definitely the key, but don't get fixated on that, right? Then just we don't question ourselves. What does that mean to be love? What does that mean to be love's roar? what does that fear means, right? So starting with the questioning yourself and then clarify, what does that mean to you? Because your loves were and my loves were definitely different, but there is a common denominator there. And that's why we're together working towards. And yes, I am returning, returning to podcasts, returning to Fierce Love Roar, because I individually and we collectively here to guide other people that we are collectively and individually the lion and the lioness, and that not only lift us all up but also lift up the whole, we talk about the vibration and just the being, because we are all vibrational beings, so we collectively lift us up, including the planet and animals and plants and trees. And I'm not going to get into this animal talk, but we all
Oh,
get
God, you're an animal. Go ahead.
and so it's each and one of us is so not even the word important. I don't know if there's any other words that it say, but it's from a universe point of view. We individually, us, you, me, being the core of us, the genuine, the pureness of us, the lioness and the lion that we are, and the more we become that, we are, since we are already the part of a universe, and it's just becomes more full and just the beauty, beautiful the way they're supposed to be. And it's almost like and then that goes back to stillness. Like it's almost like when you look at the stars in the sky and you are in a city, so much going on, which is fine because I like city life too, but and then so less stars you see, but it doesn't mean that it's not there, right? And then when you go up in the mountains or fewer residential zone, then you look up in the night sky, you see more skies. And then why is you see more stars? Why is that? Is that you have more space to be in stillness, you have more space to be in that moment of being with nature, so you see more stars. And this, it's I can't forget about the time, like so many years ago. I was fifth grade and I was in Japan, and all the academically high GPA kids get to go to this camp, and I don't know why I was able to, but but anyway, so I was one of the members in the group to get to go to mountainside academic camp. And we stepped outside and it was pitch dark, there's no light. We were walking with the flashlight and we turned off the light and we looked up and I literally fell backwards. It was like looking at the stars in the sky, and then there's so many stars that I didn't even know that existed. And that's us. And then we are always, it's always there. It's always there. And then we are, each and one of us is so important that we all exist. And if don't lose the hope, don't lose the faith, keep the faith, keep the hope. And if we including myself, right, if we need to get to that lioness and we need, or lion, we need support, then reach out, right? And reach for the star. But to be that, and because we are that. And that's why the Fears to Love's Roar, we are here for anybody who wants to know more about, who has no idea what it's all about. It's okay. If there's like, I want to know more. I mean, get a hold of Zachary, get a hold of me, us, right? And to then we can together, we can expand and
consciousness.
Yeah, and then get that stars and shine that stars in the sky.
Got that right. Okay, and we got about 6 minutes left. So let's see, what can we do in that time? Yes, okay, let's talk about the road to magical miracles. All right, so you and I, we started doing the Fear and Love's Roar thing about like August, and then September we're talking, and I'm laughing so hard. You already had a bad day. So you were already vexed about one of your kids. I don't remember the child's name, and I'm not gonna try and remember for lack of time. All right, so I'm laughing one day at work, and I got a headache, and I had to drink water, and I drank the water. I said, okay, I see why Yuriko is actually vexed right now. That actually happened to me. So I'm taking off my glasses, and I laughed a little bit more. I drank the water, and I said, oh, what's this going? And then for some odd reason, I could see myself as Satoshi. And there's this scene or memories coming in my head, and I'm saying to myself, so I'm listening to it, and I'm seeing you as a child in Japan when I knew. And I'm saying, uh-oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You're getting hassled by some boys that were taller than you. You're kind of crying yourself in a river. And I said, oh, no, I have had about enough of this. So I had to go and literally bust it up. And I think I beat all of them down or scared them off. And that's how you and I started to bond legit. And then some odd years passed by, and we're both adults. You're calling me not Satoshi-kun anymore. You're calling me Satoshi-san. And there was a fall festival or springtime festival, something like that. And we're walking home, and you decide to run away from me. Crazy. You run away from me, and the cherry blossoms are just falling. And we just look at each other, and we're feeling the flotastic zone in us, and we share a kiss. That moment hit me, and I said, oh, wow. I remember her more than any other past love I have ever had. I never knew my past loves as children. And we continued to grow forward. And no, sir, I have not touched your wife's lips in this life. No, I have not. So Bruce Mayhell, get that out of your head right now. I have not touched your wife in a physical sense. I'm talking about past life. Past life. All right, so magical miracles. We're getting ready to wrap this bad boy up. Magical miracles. I'm in awe that you were in this book forthcoming. I was happy when I heard that you were coming. I wanted you in it, and I got my wish. And Blarkins, thank you very much for reaching out to all of us for getting us in that book. And I'm happy and proud to do the best I can to get it to #1. I want it #1. I want it #1.
Oh, definitely. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, but the cast that we have, I'm still in awe, and I'm really wrapping this up now. Oh God, I was in awe beyond you and Blarkin's return. Of course, Blair was going to return because she actually is running the whole entire show. You wanted to be a part of it just to say goodbye. Karen Kiros and Lisa Lewis were gonna return, but Lisa bye-bye. I don't know why. But the Care Bear, she's still around. We got some brand new kids in the block. Let me see, Lovena and Pallavi from the Letters of Love, they're coming back with me. Let me see, Marilyn, Magnolia, Tina Marie, and Danielle.
Yes.
Oh God, what a great cast to say goodbye to the Magic series with. I'm loving our promotions so far, and I am making it known to all you Huns out there that after we go number one, I want every single one of your Heinies on the show. I repeat, I want every single one of your Heinies on the show. So I'm looking forward to getting to work and making our book number one so we can have more best-selling authors on this show. And I love you, girls. Yes, thank you. All right, Mayuko, we're getting ready to get out of here now. So the ending has changed. I used to do things a certain way, but because of Zoom and people not hearing me, your hopes for the future, my dear Yuriko-chan, are...
What?
Oh, God. Oh,
Okay.
God.
All right. So future. Yes.
You heard it. You're just teasing me, you goofball woman. Go ahead.
For what's to come, is that what you mean by it?
Yes.
Okay. So definitely Fears to Love's War. And not separate from it because this is all connected. And I am focusing on generational ancestral healing. Mm-hmm. So when I like to use the story that you just mentioned. So in our past lives, we spent some time together.
Yes, we did.
And in this lifetime, we return in a different relationship. Mm-hmm. This is, and so with or without this generational healing knowledge, I like everybody to know that it's happening. Again, that goes back to whatever that is put out that will return to you. So be aware of what your thoughts and the minds and your heart and in that doing is, right? So we return to the relationship and different relationship always to, you mentioned about history repeats itself earlier. Mm-hmm. So in order for us to do a better job. So better job, meaning just do better job, but also at the same time, when we do a better job, it's already healing is happening. And so that's what just a small description about a generational and then ancestral healing. So as we speak, that when we do a better job, we are healing our past lives, past, and the future. And this is probably the theme for my returning to podcast. What it means by generational healing means how much it affects or not affects, or it's all affecting, and then how it works from my experience. And I'm very fortunate. I learned to read Akashic record. I'll definitely talk about that in my podcast, Majestic Moments, and why is it so important? And I will be bringing that, rolling out the program is the parenting program. Why is that generational healing is important as parents?
All right, that's great hope for the future. So kids out there, before we really say sayonara, Mayuko is giving us her word, and you out there, you're gonna get on her behind too about this. She's got until December 13th. If she does not come through on it, you got the right to actually go and barge her. So now we got a time limit. All right. So with that said, if not now, and I know you don't not right now, within the next week to a month, can I bother you for three people that you can give me to get on here with me?
The age matter?
Age does not matter, my love. And I can say your age out loud right now. You don't mind. All right. She's probably 52 years old and she looks. So it don't matter to me. Bring them on.
I'm trying to think, who you already know and who you already had it on.
I already had on BLK twice. She's expected for a third eventually. Let's see. I've had on Stephanie Mahoney twice. Eventually, she'll come on for a third. Let me see who else that's in Magic. I've had on Kim Pierre. She'll come back for a second. Marquita Larray. She'll come on for a second. David Vine. Eventually, he may return. I don't know, and I'm not guaranteeing. Jamie Valeka Arner, she's still a work in progress.
Okay, I have a brand new three people for you that I never got come on to your show. And so one is my good friend and client, and her name is Karen. I don't know if she wants to be have a whole full name, but I'll just say Karen P. Okay. And then she is so amazing. Oh my God, how she returned and to be her is like she's like a good example of being an empress. So yeah, so I'm not gonna say so much about it because I don't want to,
plus you're on the deadline, Yuriko.
Yes. Okay. And then also, I don't know if she has any social media, but anyway, so she is such a beautiful being. Her name is Carrie Ann. And then another person is my good friend, Japanese friend, who resides in South Carolina. Her name is Kanako. She's such a beautiful. I mean, I don't know. She's an artist. She does a ceramic. She also do weaving. She's just a beautiful being.
Ooh, Kanoko-chan. I'm getting hyped. Kanoko-chan.
They're beautiful beings, and these beautiful soul beings bring bring a beautiful light into your show and to others. Yes.
All right, so I'll ping you later to actually get their full names and I'll see if I could contact them. All right, with that said, what can I, Zachary Shiloh, or excuse me, let's use my past life name for you, my Satoshi-kun. What can your Satoshi-kun do for you going forward, Yuriko-chan?
Just call out on me.
Okay, that's simple. All right. One goal, one
do the podcast and then do the Love's Roar, do the Fears to Love's Roar.
Okay, call you out on your podcast and do the Fear to Love's Roar with you. All right, that's simple. All right, one goal, one aim, one road, one focus, and that's love you crazy Huns out there. It doesn't matter if you're big or small, you are loved and you're being taken care of. And what I am, they call passionate. I'm passionate about the people in this house. I'm passionate about this one over here. I'm passionate about every single one of you out there, the kids out there. And today, please look out for another episode of Black Lions Domain, which should have been Zachary Shiloh's tour around the world. But because of other scheduling thingies, I am having blessed my ex-wife over here. And a certain Canadian Hun, that's not my indigenous sunflower, will be joining me, I would say, in the next 52 minutes. All right, with that said, This meeting is adjourned. My Yuriko-chan got to go pick up her loved one. We shall see you in the next episode. Bye.